Hello guys, welcome here to yet another edition of Out of Turn 4. I'm Brian here. Before we get going, I just want to say thank you all for helping us get to this milestone. Of course, today is our 50th episode. So thanks to everyone for getting us to this point. It is just, beyond words. So again, thanks to the viewers, thanks to our subscribers. You all are the reason that we have hit this 50 episode mark. Coming up on the show, we're going to recap NASCAR at Pocono. We're also going to recap SRX at Sharon, IndyCar at Iowa. We've got a lot of news that occurred this past week that we think might impact the future races this season. And then, of course, we have our playoff, or our race picks for the weekend in Indianapolis between all four major U.S. cities. Anyway, let's get going. So with that, we kick it off with NASCAR Pocono. Chandler Smith, he wins the Truck Series regular season finale at Pocono. His second win of the year, his fourth career win. And of course, the biggest story there, Todd Bodine, he finishes his NASCAR career 800 career starts across all three national series. And of course, unfortunately, it does not end the way he wished it would. It ended in the wall after a collision with Haley Deegan. Of course, my thoughts on that first. As much as I like Haley Deegan, I think she's got a bright future, and I think she's a much better driver than what she's shown in that 17 for David Gilliland Racing. But I will say that was very dumb, what she did. She definitely cut across his front bumper, and, replays show it. I mean, it's very apparent that she cut across his front bumper and ended his day. I don't know if it was retaliation for Texas. I don't want to assume. Maybe she didn't see, she was not clear, but either way, I just don't think it was a smart move on Haley Deegan's part, and unfortunately, I think she is to blame for Todd Bodine's premature end to his 800th and final NASCAR start. But moving on to the playoffs, of course, the Truck Series now begins the playoffs this weekend, and that will be starting at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. But we look at the driver's standings, of course. Zane Smith, he's going to have a pretty massive advantage now with the playoff reset. He is the number one seed. He's the only Ford in the playoffs, it should be noted. This playoffs consists of 7 Toyotas, 2 Chevrolets, and a Ford. But Zane Smith leads them all. Then, of course, Chandler Smith is now the number 2 seed after his victory. Ben Rhodes will be the 3rd seed. John Hunter Nemechek, the 4th seed. Stuart Friesen, the 5th seed. Then, of course, Christian Eckes in 6th. Ty Majeski in 7th. Quite a revival of his career there for Ty Majeski. Carson Hocevar was the 8th seed. The 9 seed, Grant Enfinger. And, of course, the 10 seed, the Cup Series veteran, or the Truck Series veteran, Matt Crafton. So that is the playoffs. And if I had to make my pick for a Championship 4 right now, which I will do at this point in the show, it's definitely going to be Zane Smith. He is definitely going to be in the Championship 4. I'm not going to make a champion prediction just yet, but Zane Smith will definitely be in it. I think Chandler Smith will be in it. And here's where things get sticky, because I think Carson Hocevar is going to be in it. Okay, like it or not, I think Carson Hocevar will be in the Championship 4. He's been really strong this year. He's really proven that he deserves to move up the ladder at the conclusion of the season. I think Xfinity, a lot of people are saying Cup. I think Xfinity is the way he needs to go. And I think he's well deserving of the opportunity. And then, of course, I'd be remiss to say anything other than John Hunter Nemechek. I do think Ben Rhodes will be a player, but I think John Hunter will get the final seed. So Zane Smith, Chandler Smith, John Hunter Nemechek, and Carson Hocevar, I think, will make up the Championship 4 for the Truck Series when we go to Phoenix. Noah Gragson, he wins his late race duel with Ty Gibbs. Of course, they were battling door to door. Both of them ran, honestly, the cleanest race I've ever seen them run. And Noah Gragson comes out with his third win of the season, his 8th career victory. And again, just a clean battle, and it was great to see. And of course, even greater to see Jeb Burton walking away from his crash. Of course, Jeb Burton flipped over, rode on the roof for a little bit. I'm glad he is okay after that wreck. On to the Cup Series. Well, I thought I was going to be talking about Denny Hamlin's impressive, dominating victory and Toyota's big, dominating victory at Pocono. And needless to say, a few hours in, now I had to work overnight, so just for full clarification, I didn't watch the full Cup race. I had to work overnight, but I did watch the finish, and right when I turned it off is when I had to start. So when I started, got going with what I was doing, and then read on Twitter, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch disqualified, and Chase Elliott is the winner at Pocono. Of course, it is his 4th win of the year. It is the first disqualification at the NASCAR Cup Series level. The first winner to be disqualified in over 50, 60 years. Wow, is the first reaction. But I figured something was up. Those Toyotas were really more dominant than I've seen them. And this was a track I didn't think they'd be very dominant at. And Denny, of course, we know how strong he is at Pocono. But, yeah. Chase doesn't deserve the win, to be honest. I'm going to side with them. I am a Chase Elliott fan, for those who don't know. Or for those who are watching the show for the first time. So, I'll admit it was a Mickey Mouse win for Chase Elliott. But a win's a win. What does it matter? Okay. 4th career win, or 4th win this season. And, again, no words for this. But I will say words on what happened prior to the finish. Of course, Denny Hamlin has issued payback to Ross Chastain. He runs side by side with Ross Chastain. Basically ran the car wide on exit, like he would if he was clear. And it kind of either left Chastain with the choice of lift or crash into the wall. And needless to say, Ross Chastain did not make the right pick. I'm going to say they're even. I'm sorry, I get Ross screwed Denny twice this year. Maybe Ross has one more coming to him, but honestly, I think they're even. You fenced him, you ended his day. He never ended your day on any of those wrecks. I mean, he definitely caused you to not get the result you deserved, but he never ended your day. Okay, there's a difference. So that's why I think Denny Hamlin is now even with Ross Chastain. But knowing Denny, it's not over. Denny is a sour, he's a sour SOB. So this is not over. And again, I say this all the time about Harvick, Hamlin, Kyle Busch. These guys want to, these guys go out there and demand to be raced with respect. And then they cry when it's done to them. And, I'm not defending Ross's actions, but I am saying, quit calling the, it's like the pot calling the kettle black in the situation. Because, again, Denny does the same thing, Harvick does the same thing, Kyle Busch has done the same thing before. And to them, it's just a racing deal. But someone else does it, and it's, end of the world, like, I'm going to kick his ass sort of deal. So again, I think they're even now, and we can move on. Just like we are about to right now, to IndyCar at Iowa. Of course, Josef Newgarden won the opener to start the weekend. Pato O'Ward won the second race after Newgarden crashed out mid-race in the second leg of the doubleheader. The racing itself, I will say, was okay. I think that race would be much better at night, if I'm being honest. I think, if they do Friday, Saturday night, I think that would be a better option, or maybe Saturday night and then late Sunday afternoon. I think those would be better options because I think night racing at Iowa would have provided better racing, especially with the heat that we had on Saturday and Sunday. Of course, if you don't know, the whole globe has been experiencing a heat wave. I got friends in Italy. They are saying it's been 100 degrees every single day. It's been 90 degrees up till Monday when it was 70 here in Rochester. It was 90 degrees almost every day here, and the humidity level was oppressive. So, again, I think if you're going to keep this race in this slot next year, then I think you should absolutely put one at night, if not both at night. And again, I think the racing's better at night because the track temp's a lot lower. But, nonetheless, they did a good job. I mean, if that's the only thing I'm going to nitpick, Iowa was a sellout. It's just a shame that NBC, again, had to drop the ball on coverage, missing restarts, going to commercial right when a wreck happens. I'm grateful for the side-by-side, but, I want to see this live without commercial. And again, it just looked like it was timed so perfectly. And again, NBC dropped the ball per usual. I'm not going to carry on with this because we still have a lot of show to discuss. But, I think Iowa deserves a second date. I've seen on Twitter that people want to see a cup race there. I'm not for it. I'm going to be honest. Now, look, hear me out. Because it's not what you think as to why I think Iowa doesn't deserve to be on the NASCAR Cup schedule. The reason I think they don't deserve to be on the Cup schedule is because look at that old surface, and I'm telling you one of two things is going to happen. I'm not worried because, you know what, International Speedway Corp does not own Iowa, but one thing I'm worried about is with the old surface, they're either going to repave Iowa, which it kind of, it's not needed, but, there's an argument. It's not needed, but it's something that could be done. So one, that's the issue. And number two, spraying that resin or the PJ1 down to provide two-groove racing. You're going to ruin it for other series because we've seen what IndyCar does at Texas now that the PJ1 is permanently stained the track. Again, I don't approve of that. So that's the only reason I don't want a NASCAR race, a NASCAR Cup Series race at Iowa, because they will spray the crap out of that PJ1 to make that track a two-groove track, or they'll repave it, And to be honest, it was a so-so show for the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, or Xfinity Series and the Truck Series there. It was so-so, nothing too special. I mean, yeah, it would be good to get into the Midwest, especially Iowa region, but again, I think it's a tough sell for me. I mean, you'd have to cut Richmond out of there. Again, we'll see the rest of that in my silly season special when that comes up. Again, stay tuned to the end of the episode for that update. But needless to say, on the IndyCar side, yes, I think they should be back next year. Maybe not in a doubleheader. For those who don't know me, I'm very against doubleheaders in a series that hosts 18 races. There's enough tracks around the U.S. that'd be, I'm pretty sure, more than gracious to host an IndyCar event. And it's time to start listening to them. Unless they're Texas Motor Speedway. Then you just kick them to the curb and tell them we're not interested. But anyway, moving on. SRX at Sharon, and Chase Elliott has gone undefeated now in 2 races in SRX. He wins, holding off Tony Stewart late. Of course, again, his second win. Of course, the first race Chase Elliott ran at or in SRX, it was at the Nashville Fairgrounds. So this is second start, and it was on dirt this time, and he holds off essentially the dirt track king in Tony Stewart. But the bigger news, of course, Marco Andretti is now a champion. Yes, Marco Andretti won the SRX title this weekend. Of course, he was in every wreck just about all weekend. He broke his wrist late in the race, and needless to say, hurt so good, I think, if you're Marco Andretti. Of course, it's been well noted through 6 weeks, the ratings were pretty far down for SRX. So that leads to the question now, what's going to be the future of SRX? And that one I don't feel I could give a confident answer on. But what I will say is there's things that need to be improved on. Number one, these timed cautions, or as I believe they're the fun killer cautions. They need to fix that. That's first and foremost. I feel that CBS also, and again, I think CBS did a great job with this series. I think they've done a great job, really. If they want to get a Cup Series TV package, if they want to get a Cup Series TV contract, I think they did a good job auditioning for it. Again, Alan Bestwick's good in the booth. You could have, maybe you poach Larry McReynolds from Fox, because honestly, we know if CBS takes NASCAR, they're more than likely going to take Larry Mack, the Fox end of the schedule. So I would say, you take Larry Mack, you got Alan Bestwick, maybe you add a driver in that just retired, and then of course you could have Willie T. Ribbs do the pit road roving reporter thing. So I think it was a good experiment if they want a Cup Series package or TV deal in the future. But as far as the future of SRX, I don't want to say it looks good. Again, TV ratings are down. Track ticket sales have been up. I mean, I just don't think that CBS will pick it up again. That's my fear. After seeing how the ratings went down. Now, they very well could, but I think then next year they're going to have to make some drastic changes. And again, I think CBS did a great job covering, but I think they could have done, I think the series itself could have done better this year. Again, timed cautions. They went to, I believe the finale, it was 70 laps. They said all laps only count under green, which was a great rule. But once they had too many cautions, it's, we're coming up on the end of our time block, so now we are going to be running laps count under caution. I don't agree with that. So, again, you make a rule, stick to it. Tell the networks to, shove it if they don't like it. That's just my opinion, Again, and it goes back to the NBC talk. Of course, you guys know how passionate I feel that NBC should not be covering racing. Again, I guess I'll make this final plea now that we're on that topic. Again, for auto racing's sake, when's the last time an NBA game went to overtime on ABC? Now, ABC has rights to Sunday afternoon NBA games later in the year. When's the last time? Tell me this. When's the last time an NBA game went to overtime, overran the world news and the 6 o'clock local news on the East Coast? And when's the last time that ESPN or ABC said, because we went over our allotted time, you have to go over to ESPN2, or you have to go over to ESPN Plus to watch the finale or to watch the finish of this game? Or, we're going to change the rules. It's going to be sudden death. Whoever makes the first basket wins. When's the last time that happened? Okay. I could tell you when that happened. Absolutely never. Okay. So, why does auto racing get this disrespect? When any other sport runs overtime. Now, I mean, I get it. Auto racing's not as popular as basketball or football. But when's the last time any of those games ran over and they moved them over to a premium streaming service or another network? Again, I can tell you, never. So, I feel like auto racing should get some of that respect, and I feel CBS, I feel they do a good job, but, I just hope they wouldn't pull that. And NBC's pulled that way too many times for me to give them another shot. But anyway, so moving on, racing news now. Josef Newgarden, of course, we mentioned that he won race number 1 at Iowa. Unfortunately, he didn't complete race number 2. Something broke underneath the bottom of the car. He goes to the infield care center, gets checked and released. He collapsed after leaving the infield care center and was taken by helicopter. Now, the reason for this, again, don't think it's serious. If you haven't heard the story, he was not taken by helicopter because of serious injury, detrimental injuries, or injuries like, that. But he was taken because of traffic concerns, and that way it was just quicker, But Newgarden, of course, taken back to the infield care center, back to the hospital, was held overnight for evaluation, and as of now, he is not cleared to run at IMS in the Gallagher Grand Prix. And because of that, Sam Hunt Racing's Santino Ferrucci has been named the standby driver if Josef Newgarden isn't cleared. Now again, he needs to be cleared by Thursday in order to participate in the race weekend, is my understanding. Sam Hunt Racing of the NASCAR Xfinity Series has Santino Ferrucci as their driver for the weekend as well. And again, my thoughts and prayers are with Josef Newgarden. I certainly hope, for the sake of the series, for the sake of himself, that he is cleared to go racing. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it when I say that I'm also a Santino Ferrucci fan, for those who don't know. Again, I'm wearing a Colton Herta shirt, but I also like Santino Ferrucci's probably my second driver if I had to pick one. And there's a part of me, and I hope this doesn't make me a bad person, but there's a part of me that hopes Josef Newgarden doesn't get cleared, so that way Ferrucci drives. And again, before anyone criticizes me and say that I wish injury on a driver, I do not. I want Josef Newgarden in the field. He is the best driver in the field as of right now, and it would be a shame to not have him behind the wheel. But, again, the Ferrucci fan in me wants him in the number 2 because we know for a fact this will be the career race for Santino Ferrucci. The best equipment he's ever had in his career, the best equipment he'll probably ever have in his IndyCar career. And, again, he deserves a shot at full-time. I've documented that multiple times, that he deserves a full-time ride. And, and again, I feel like in a Penske ride, now granted, he probably won't get the same amount of notes and the same amount of feedback as someone like Will Power or Scott McLaughlin's going to get, but I feel like, this is a race where he can maybe beat that 4th place career best finish and turn that into maybe a 3rd, maybe a 2nd. Looking at how strong Team Penske's been this year, I feel this can give him a real legitimate shot at battling for the title, or for a win. So, certainly I'd love to see it for Ferrucci's sake, but again, at the expense of Josef Newgarden is unfortunate. That's where I think I was going to go with that. That it's unfortunate it's under these circumstances, but, I certainly want to see Ferrucci in this car, but again, if Newgarden's cleared, I'll be very happy because, again, he, again, under these circumstances, But anyway, moving on to another driver who was listed out this weekend. Kurt Busch was not medically cleared to race at Pocono after his qualifying crash. He sustained a concussion, and due to that, Ty Gibbs, of course, the Silver Spoon kid, makes his NASCAR Cup Series debut. That's what I think I like to call him, and a lot of fans like to call him. And Ty Gibbs comes back to finish in 16th after the disqualifications to the two Joe Gibbs cars. 16th in his Cup Series debut with 2311 Racing. Good for him. Again, personally, I don't care for Ty Gibbs. I don't think he's that good of a driver. I've stated multiple times, I think he is where he is because of his grandfather's money. So, but we can make the same argument for Austin Dillon and, family connections for Cody Ware, Cole Custer. We can make those arguments too, but, I just don't think Ty is that good. I feel like, though, that kind of race certainly solidified his future as a Cup driver with Joe Gibbs Racing. Of course, we know the uncertain future of Kyle Busch. We don't know if it's going to be next year or the year after for Ty Gibbs, but, we'll find out soon enough. And again, my expanded thoughts on that will come at a later date. We go on to the race picks now. Truck Series at Lucas Oil. I'm going to pick Zane Smith. He's going to win. He's going to move on to the round of 8 this weekend. IndyCar, of course, IndyCar and NASCAR, the double-header weekend at the IMS Road Course this weekend. And I look forward to watching as much of it as I can. But IndyCar at IMS, and I'm going to pick Romain Grosjean. Of course, I picked him earlier this year. I'm going to pick him again. And, what I will say is, again, note to IndyCar, and I've said this a few times on the show as well, note to IndyCar, stop running tracks twice a year when you only have an 18-race schedule. I don't care if you run the IMS road course once a year and, of course, the oval, but quit running both. Or quit running the road course twice a year. Find another track to do that. Xfinity Series at the road course. I'm picking AJ Allmendinger to win that one. He won the Cup race last year. Colleague's always strong on the road courses. I wouldn't even be shocked if he wins on the Cup side, but needless to say, AJ is my pick for the Xfinity side. The Cup Series at IMS, the road course, I'm going to go with Austin Cindric, believe it or not. I think, this is a track where Penske, again, it's Penske owned. I feel that Cindric's going to have that pressure to win, and I feel like he's going to have a good car this time around. Of course, we know Ford struggles right now, but I feel like they'll break through and finally get that victory, and the second victory for Austin Cindric to put him into solidly into the playoffs. That's all we got. Tune in on Friday. Of course, Friday, July 29th, we will have our NASCAR Silly Season Special. It'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern here on YouTube and Facebook Watch, so we hope you will tune in for that. I promise you it will be up by then. Even if I have to do it live, it will be up. Of course, out of Turn 4, NASCAR Silly Season Special. We'll be covering everything on the NASCAR side as far as Cup rides and the Cup schedule. My predictions for the Cup schedule. But anyway, be sure to tune in to No Final Bell tomorrow at 5. And until Friday, guys, goodbye, everyone.